Powered by Riverside FM.
Kwesi Adofo Mensah is cooking. Have you guys ever been to a really good cookout? You know, you got the burgers, you got the brats, you got the barbecue ribs, the chicken breasts, whatever you like to put on a grill. And that makes the cookout. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes the sides are just as important. And this is what Kwesi Adofo Mensah is doing right now, man. You know, everybody talks about the big signings. Everybody talks about the big signings. But what he's been doing just in terms of depth of this team and bringing people in that will help build a big foundation for this team. Kwesi is cooking. That statement is thrown around a lot, but don't have it be understated, because what he's doing is a phenomenal job. And so for all the Kwesi haters out there, I just don't get it. Again, I get the draft picks, but you have to admit, when you hear somebody say Kwesi is cooking, Kwesi's doing more than cooking, man. Kwesi is having a cookout. You look at Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, the difference that he is going to make. You're talking about a guy that can create his own pass rush, his own pressure. Sometimes when you look at the nuances of defensive linemen, you have one defensive lineman that has two guys that blocks him on 90% of the plays. What that essentially does is, when you understand the science of defensive line versus offensive line, it frees up the other defensive lineman. Now, when you look at the Vikings and you look at the addition of Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, another young man that can create his own pass rush up the middle, you pair that with Harrison Phillips and Dallas Turner. I just want you to think about that, Minnesota Viking fans, UP Nation. Just those four guys. Don't think about the linebackers. Don't think about the cornerbacks. Don't think about the safety. Just think about those four guys in rotation on that defensive line. I know it's a 3-4, and I know Dallas Turner, plays that outside linebacker spot, at times. But Dallas Turner is also going to be a guy that's going to stick his hand into the ground. Now think about that four. Then you look at Cashman. You look at Grenard. You look at Gink, Mr. Van Ginkel, and you add that production to a revamped four. That's a dangerous formula for the rest of the league. And then you have Dr. Frankenstein, who is the Vikings defensive coordinator, and B-Flow. The additions on the just on the table, what Kwesi has done is going to instantly improve our defense, because now you're not always going to have to be blitz heavy, UP Nation. You're not always. It is the defensive line moves is going to put us in the top 5, maybe even top 3, and wouldn't be surprised if it's number 1 defense in the league. It will be the most glaring improvement of our football team, the Minnesota Vikings. The contracts that Kwesi Adofo Mensah have been handing out are not contracts where we are committed for 4 to 5 to 6 years down the stretch. And I know Will Fries got the biggest bag, really, out of all of our free agents, that 5-year, $80 million deal. But it's been constructed in a way where it's not the kiss of death. We're not, if things are not working out, we're not on the hook forever with Will Fries. And let me tell you this, that signing is going to be significant because before he got hurt, people were touting him as one of the top 2 guards in the league. And to get him for 5 years, $88 million to improve this offensive line, man, is absolutely fantastic. Kwesi is having a cookout. Byron Murphy, who, for all intents and purposes, I had no idea that the Vikings were going to be able to get him back. If you would have told me before free agency started that we would be able to add all the pieces and bring Byron Murphy back with all the pieces that we added, man, I would not have believed it. And Kwesi Adofo Mensah found a way to get this done. Byron Murphy on the opposite side of the field from Isaiah Rodgers from the Eagles. Man, these moves are just genius moves. And we had to pay a little bit. Then you add Ryan Kelly, who is one of the best centers in the league, a veteran that can read defenses. And before your offensive starts, you have to have a center that understands what the heck he is looking at in terms of who's the mic, who's the wheel. So now the other offensive linemen know who to block in their assignments. And then I'm not even talking about the physical production. J.J. McCarthy or whoever the quarterback is doesn't have to worry about pressure being in their face. Kwesi's cooking out, man. He's cooking out. The re-signing of Aaron Jones for the amount of money. I know everybody sees the $20 million numbers, but the $20 million is not the $20 million. It's about $4.5 million a year plus incentives, and we're not on the hook forever for an Aaron Jones. But he's coming off a career year. And to be able to get a career year running back like Aaron Jones and to be able to spell him a little bit is a smart move by the Minnesota Vikings. Isaiah Rodgers, not a sexy name quarterback-wise, not a sexy name cornerback-wise, but he helps the Minnesota Vikings in the secondary. He makes our secondary better. He's a guy that can fly around, played in the league, 4.3 40, tenacious, hard hitter. Unbelievable moves. Then you talk about Jordan Mason. Come on, guys. Come on, UP Nation. Jordan Mason, who spelled Christian McCaffrey last year and did a really good job until he got hurt at the end of last year, had to miss the last 5 games. Do you remember Jordan Mason during the year, how he was tearing the league up? That's our backup now. So what all these moves do, it creates a lot of flexibility where now we may be able to take the best player available instead of need. Kwesi Adofo Mensah is having a cookout. Sometimes it's not about the sexy moves you make. Sometimes it's not about all the moves you make. Sometimes it's about the moves that you don't make. Like Cooper Kupp. I would have loved having Cooper Kupp on this team, but not at that price. Not at that price. Kwesi was smart enough to say, look, if this is going to be your market, we're out. We're out. Same thing with Cam Bynum. If this is going to be your market, we're out. We're going to sign Theo Jackson. Don't let me mention Eric Wilson adding more depth to that linebacker room. Kwesi Adofo Mensah, man, is not only cooking, but he's having a cookout. You guys have been to those cookouts, man, where it's just not about all the burgers and brats. It's about the sides that you have with it. The mac and cheese, the coleslaw. This is what Kwesi Adofo Mensah is doing. He is cooking out. Give that man an extension. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Those that become members, please consider becoming a member. Those that become members will get entered into a drawing for a Minnesota Vikings Winter Warriors jersey. This has been Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you, UP Nation.